Everyone has a secret. But not every secret was meant to stay buried. Welcome to the confession chamber. People always said we were the same person, split into two bodies. They were wrong. And the day I wore her wedding dress and walked down that aisle to marry her husband, I proved it. I am in my mid-30s now. I live in South Africa, if that matters to you. I have a home, a husband, and what most people would call a quiet, normal life. From the outside, I look like a woman who has everything together. Steady, calm, put together. But I haven't slept a full night in over 4 years. Not because of nightmares, not exactly. It is more like a weight, a pressure that sits on my chest somewhere between my ribs and my throat. Like something is always on the verge of coming out, and I have swallowed it back down so many times that I am not even sure I remember what it tastes like anymore. I am a twin, an identical twin, and if you have never been one, let me try to explain something that most people do not understand. Being an identical twin is not just a biological fact. It is an identity. It is a mirror you did not ask for, standing next to you every day of your life. You look at her and you see yourself, but not quite. You see a version of yourself that the world chose differently, the one they praised more, the one they remembered first, the one who walked into a room and made people lean forward while you stood just behind her, close enough to feel the warmth of their attention, but never quite receiving it yourself. That was my whole childhood, my whole adolescence, my whole young adulthood. She was not cruel to me. That is the part that makes this so hard to explain. She was not a bad person. She never lorded anything over me, never spoke badly about me, never tried to diminish me. She was kind, genuinely, authentically kind. And somehow that made it worse. Because how do you resent someone who is good to you? How do you carry anger towards someone who never actually wronged you? You just do, quietly. You bury it deep. You smile at her and love her and protect her. And all the while, something dark is growing in the place where your longing lives. I did not know then how far that darkness could take me. I was married first. He was not a good man. I know that now with a clarity I did not have when I was 24 years old and thought love was enough to fix a person. He was charming in the way that dangerous men are charming. Generously at first, then selectively, then only when he wanted something. He had a temper that lived just below the surface, and a hunger for control that he had learned to dress up as protectiveness. My sister, my twin, she saw it. She warned me. I did not listen. One night, he came home drunk. My twin was staying with us for a few weeks. I was not home. I had gone to visit our mother, who had taken ill. My twin was alone in the house. He came home drunk, and he mistook her for me. No, wait, that is not the right way to say it. I do not know if he mistook her for me, or if he simply decided it did not matter. Those are two very different things, and 4 years later, I still do not know the answer. I have turned that question over in my mind thousands of times, and it still has no bottom. What I know is what my sister told me, shaking and bloodless, when I came home the next morning. He had attacked her. He had tried to force himself on her. She had fought back, hard desperate, the way a person fights when they understand that their life is the thing being taken from them. She had grabbed the first thing she could reach, and she had hit him, and he had fallen, and he had not gotten back up. He was dead. I stood in my kitchen in that early morning light and looked at my mirror image, and I watched her fall apart in front of me. And I felt so many things at once that I could not separate them. Grief, horror, relief, guilt about the relief, and underneath all of it, something I was ashamed of even then. A terrible, hollow kind of certainty that this was somehow, in some way I could not name yet, about me. Our parents came. Our father made the decision quickly, the way men of his generation make the decisions they cannot afford to question. Fast, final, and without room for argument. We would tell no one. We would handle it ourselves. The alternative was prison. And my sister, they said, had done nothing wrong. She had defended herself. Why should she suffer for that? I agreed. Of course I agreed. I was 26 years old. I had just lost my husband, and I was burying him with a secret the size of a body. What I did not realize was that I was also burying myself. Grief is a strange thing when you cannot share it honestly, because I could not mourn him the way a widow mourns. I could not be angry the way a victim should be. I had to perform a grief that was clean and simple and acceptable. A woman who lost her husband too young, while carrying inside me the true and complicated version of the story. The true version. My husband had tried to rape my sister, and she had killed him defending herself. The version I had to perform. I lost him suddenly. It was a tragedy. He was a good man. Every time someone told me he was a good man, something in me cracked a little more. And every time I looked at my sister, who was alive and free and walking in sunlight, I felt something I did not want to name. She was fine. Or at least, she was becoming fine. That was what I could not bear. The way she slowly, carefully began to rebuild. The way time moved for her, the same way it moved for everyone, forward. She started going out again. She started laughing again. She started dating again. And I was still underground, still pretending, still paying a price for something I did not do, to protect a person who, no, that is not fair either, and I know it. She did not do anything wrong, I know that. She was the victim of my husband. She should not have had to pay for his violence with her freedom. I know that. I know it. But knowing something is right does not always stop you from resenting it. She met him 2 years after that night, her future husband. He was steady, kind, successful, everything my husband had pretended to be. I watched her fall in love with him, and I watched that love be returned, cleanly, honestly, without conditions or cruelty. And I want to be honest with you right now because that is the whole point of this. I want to tell you the most shameful truth I carry. I did not just resent her. I wanted what she had. Not him specifically, her life, the version of the future she had somehow managed to claim after everything that had happened, the happiness she hadn't surrendered. I had surrendered mine. I had buried my marriage and my anger and my grief and the truth all in the same grave, and she was standing in the sun